Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Harakakadash. I want to see apostles and elders of great most under the wall. Shalom to the brothers doing the work in sincerity and truth. Just gonna quickly touch on Revelation 11. So yeah, I'll jump into it. It says, these are the two olive trees and two candlesticks. Revelation 11:4. These are the two olive trees and two candlesticks standing before the power of the earth. And if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouths and devoureth their enemies. And if any man hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. Yeah. So you had basically the prophet set up, throughout various times, within these different kingdoms to essentially prophesy the downfall, man. Babylon. Get out. Media, Persia, Greece, Rome. There's always someone set up to prophesy of the end. So I read this, Jeremiah 28:8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms, of war and of evil and of pestilence. Yeah. The Lord basically had it set up so that always throughout, every kingdom there'll be his prophets that are there to prophesy against, the kingdom, but then also to Israel, because there was various times where Israel was going the fuck off, and they need to be backed up so that they could get saved as well. So Revelation 11:5, and if any man will hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devoureth their enemies, and if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed. These have the power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy, and have power over waters to turn them to blood, to smite the earth with all plagues as often as they will. And yeah, these are the spiritual powers that have been exhibited by the prophets that came before. And again now, and this time, I'm going to see it exhibited again, to where the Lord's going to display his power. And, these is going to work the same as before, to where people are going to what? They're even with, miracles being manifested, they're still, it's still not going to be enough. But it's going to let you know, man, that Yahweh Shem Yahushua doesn't play, and really separates those that, their minds already been fried from this place, from those, that actually can be saved. So it says, and when they shall have finished their testimony, the beast that sendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. Yeah. So you're gonna have basically what already had it, where Esau, Edom, that American system has been used to put a smash on Jake, and that's why the bulk of Israel's still within their hand, within America, but it's all for the sake of prophecy, because that's the line that the bulk of the elect need to be saved out of, and where the destruction is going to take place. It said what? And their dead body shall lie in the street of the great sea, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt. And yeah, America's that spiritual Sodom and Egypt. It's followed in its footsteps. It's followed in its shadow, and that's all it's represented. The same um, reason, the same no spirit. It's basically following after. You can tell it's the daughter of Sodom and Egypt, because it's bringing back all the things that were in Sodom and Egypt, man. All those states of confusion. Just like in Egypt, utilizing the what do you call it, Jake as that resource to build itself up. It's funny even now, like Jake is really the problem when you deal with like culture in America, even like sports or music, you know, like various forms of entertainment, like movies and whatnot. Jake is like prominent in all these fields for basically giving vibrancy or life to that. So that is Jake has really become that cornerstone of just how America exists now. And then Sodom as well. It's what do you call it? That spirit that Alphabet Gang is going wild. But what they're completely just following themselves, like molding themselves after it, and even says 2 Peter 2:6, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemn them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly. So yeah, that's basically what an example set for what not to do. So for you to follow after, it's you're inviting essentially similar destruction upon yourself, because it's because of their conduct. Why that's why they got put on smash, man. I was like, yo, it's like couldn't even find, what was it, 10 righteous in there. Because why? Them man were compromised. So it says, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues, Revelation 11:9, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. Yeah. So that spiritually dead, that dead in the mindset that Jake's been in within that land, no one's coming and giving them that essential information and knowledge of who they are, to basically shake them out of that stupor. Everyone's they've been celebrating, they've been making merry. Well, I'll read it. It says, verse 10, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on earth. Yeah, so everyone's celebrating Jake being in that destroyed state of mind. Because why? They're thinking like, yo, these guys, they were too much, man. They came against us. They were clean contrary to our ways. Like, how, we don't want to have shit for these guys. But, what's the, in doing so, you've basically increased the judgments that are going to come against you, man. Over the earth, and after 3 days and a half, great fear fell upon them which saw them. Yeah, verse 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Yeah. And that's been since, the brothers have been roused, and you've seen, this word coming out from the street corners, online as well, all over the earth, that great fear has fell. And really what? Those that hold power, those that hold sway, the elites of the society have been doing all in their power to try and, frustrate or uh, have it, go off the rails. But again, this is something where it's like, if I can get Acts 5:35, and it said, and said unto them, Ye men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what ye intend to do as touching these men. For before those days rose up Theudas, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who were slain, and all as many as obeyed him were scattered and brought to naught. After this man rose up Judas of Galilee in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all as many as obeyed him were dispersed. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught. But if it be of the Most High, ye cannot overthrow it, lest haply ye be found even to fight against the Most High. That's how plain it is. With what's being done, with the brothers being woken up, with this truth going out. This is of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. If, for you to try and come against, you're trying to come against, the power who made the universe, man. Like, what the level of meaninglessness, the futility to your resistance is immense. So it's something where you should really meditate on that and like, is this through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai or no? Because it is, and that means it's essentially it's a wash. Same thing. That's why Esau is even, he's been established. He's got power over the earth. He's been given, technologies and capabilities. He can set his nest among the stars. He's built the desolate places. He's got everyone basically seeing him as an angel of light. But even then, when the time comes, the bookend on his rule, it's a wash. And that's why they feel that fear. Because, since the spirit's been roused, it's been the end, man. And Esau's, walking, he's basically, been placed on the tracks of prophecy, fulfilling it, whether he desired to or not. So this is what verse 12, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Yeah. The enemies beheld them. In the same hour there was a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. And in the earthquake was slain of men 7,000, and the remnant were affrighted and gave glory to the Most High. So yeah, the witness to destruction said what? And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and them chariots, them chariots that have been plaguing Esau of late. It's been up in the news. And then what? And their enemies beheld them. So, the enemy's gonna be, the elect's gonna be saved out of this place. And then what? The enemies, Esau, Edom, Ishmael, Moab, all these enemies, all these nations are gonna see what? Israel being saved, man. It's gonna be crystal clear. But yeah, I'll leave it on that. just touch on you know, how Jake's gone in that destroyed state, but then wanting coming out. Hey, these nations are feeling the fear, and it's something you can see because they're trying to demonize, the truth, and then as well, you know, essentially, doing everything in their power to try and frustrate it, but it's not something they're capable of doing because it's set up from Yahweh Hashem Yahshai. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, Shalom.